And then let's move on to the investing basic for today. Basic topic we're going to cover for just a few minutes because it doesn't really require that much. In this case, we're going to talk about what is compound growth. Now, this is one of those quotes that I think might be bunk because it's so awfully quoted that it doesn't seem to be, it's too good to be true. Einstein calling compound interest or compound growth the eighth wonder of the world. That's if he didn't say it, he might as well have, because everyone's attributing that to him.
I don't know if he actually said it. It's probably a way to find out.
If you Google it,
it's not all that wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful, but it's not that much of a wonder because it's obvious. I mean, you get interest on interest on interest on interest, or return on return on return on return. That's the compounding effect. It has that geometric type of logarithmic factor to it that simple interest and simple returns just don't. So the more people understand that, we were just looking at a company, by the way, recently. I think it was the two of us that were looking at a company where if you invested $1,000, or no, it was $10,000. Oh, it was a mutual fund. And I hat tip out to the Franklin Income Fund, which has been around since 1946. $10,000 is now $11 million. Not bad.
Right.
Not bad. Now, it's been a long time. What is that? 54, 74, 70, 77 years.
Something like that.
Something like that. But nonetheless, that's the power of compounding. It is a remarkable reality. It's simple math, but it's a remarkable reality of what that means. So it really argues for young people, please, the earlier you start investing and think of compounding. Let's just say, I think the long-term return on the S&P 500 back to like 1925 is something like 11%. A good way to kind of factor in how 11%, what 11% actually means. And let's just say 10%. The rule of 72. Doug, what is the rule of 72?
Let's see. If you divide the interest rate into 72, that's how many years it takes to double.
Correct. So 10%, 7.2 years, you double your money. Well, do the math on how many years, how many times 7 times 7.2 years does it take to get to X? That you can really pretty easily figure that out. That's that power of compounding. So enough people, especially when they're young, enough young people don't understand I think they understand. I mean, it's not a hard intellectual topic, but they just don't see how important that is. They don't see the impact. I think they can't bring themselves to think of the impact. And I mean, it's a human nature thing. When you're our age, we can see it more clearly because we've now lived a longer period of time. When you're 20 years old, 25 years old, it's harder to see that. But man, does it ever make a difference? It's what we've talked about, dollar cost averaging and regular, periodic investments. I think my favorite savings and investment plan, the half of the money goes into a long-term investment plan, half of it goes into cash. Mm-hmm. If the earlier you start that, the more powerful it is.
Yep. And simple interest is just, you have $100 invested, you get 10%. You take your $10 and you go take it out, and then next year you get another 10% on your $100. Mm-hmm. You take it out. So simple interest does not include if you spend the simple interest and take it out of the account, you don't get growth on that simple interest. So compound interest just means that you are leaving the earnings in the account and getting growth upon growth. And eventually that makes you get huge geometric returns.
Yep.
So if not, maybe it's logarithmic. So yeah, logarithmic. So, and it's almost to get to the point where the nothing matters more than the time. For instance, there's I remember my father telling me this years ago. I wish it fueled. My dad really taught me wrong because he gave me good advice. He just didn't make me take it. So I blame him for all my failings. So, but
at least that you're not worth more.
Yes. There is the example though, if you invest in an IRA from the ages of like 18 to 28 and then leave it, you will get more than a person who invested, say, twice that from the age of like 36 on. And so obviously the math matters, but there are multiple models that basically validate this point. Starting early matters more than anything when you're talking about investing.
And when you're talking about, especially and this will be our next topic, suffering. But so stay tuned if you're interested for the next one. But it'll make sense why I'm even bringing that up next time. But there's a term or a phrase out there. It's not timing the market. It's time in the market. That's the power of compounding. The longer that you're in, and you'll go through periods when you're talking about the markets where it's not very good returns like the last 2 years. Well, stay tuned. 6 months from now, it may be an aberration. And had you been continuing to add, or at the very least just stuck with it, you end up being okay. You really do.
So stick with it.
Stick with it.